Good day. I am me. Hopefully you are you. If not, you will be. Um, so I'm just gonna tell you a little bit more about time today. So if you didn't see the video yesterday, go watch it. And I'm gonna just kind of ask you some questions to think about, because I don't read comments, so you ain't got to answer to me. I'm not the one that, you answer to anyway in the end anyhow. The Father is the Creator. So a little bit more about time. There's only two times to each day. It's either daytime or nighttime. They're in as far as the actual literal time, it's always now, right now. It's not a second by minute by hour, like we've been taught. It's the moment that you're in. That's what time it is, right then, because it's the only time you can do anything with. So the part of to where you think, so I guess this is kind of a question. Why is the day part broken up into three parts, meaning morning, afternoon, and evening, but yet the night is one whole part by itself? So there's your indicator that there is only two times to each day. It's either daytime or nighttime. There is no morning, afternoon, and evening. And part of that is the spelling, irregardless of what you think. So everybody is casting spells and speaking curses, whether you're projecting them onto somebody, but you got to remember, everything you say, you are telling yourself. It doesn't matter, you're always talking to yourself because you hear every single word you say. So you're telling your brain what to think. Now, I need you to think about this. Your brain, your subconscious, does not know the difference between spellings of words, like how they use week days, weekends with the two E's, or weak like you're not strong with the EA. Your subconscious just hears the word weak and its true nature, meaning you're not strong. So when you say weekdays and weekends, you're constantly telling your brain that you're weak. Just like when you say, like when you're asking your kids or whatever, are you awake? Well, what is awake? Awake is a funeral where somebody died. And then what do you say first thing in the morning when you see other people? Good morning. Morning is sadness, sorrow. So these word play is you're telling yourself these things. In your subconscious, like I said, doesn't differ between spellings and the meanings of words. That's your conscious, your carnal part of you that knows the difference, not the subconscious. So everything you're speaking is telling your subconscious how to train your brain and how your body to feel. And that's why it's called spelling, because you're casting spells. Even though you can project things onto other people, but if they don't know better, they'll accept them and then they'll carry that, and that's the way their life will go. But if they know the difference, then they know that you can't project your curses, your spells, the energy that you're trying to project onto somebody, whether it be good or bad. So But yeah, so these are, this is why they say, weekdays, weekends. It's a week. So you're weak all week, you know. It's just you got to be more conscientious of the things that you're not only thinking, but most definitely what you're speaking. Because if you speak it, you're telling your brain to think it, and your brain tells your body to feel it. This is the way energy works. But yeah. So these are more plays that they do on time, and they teach you time because the way that it is to try to push you to do more, to get more done, using more of your energy, making you weaker each day through the week, so that you're even so weak on weekends, and then when the weekend comes, you're saying, yeah, to the weekend, but yet you're even telling yourself the weekend even tires you out, wears you out, and so you're telling yourself to not get any rest. Like I said, I didn't design this stuff. I'm just a messenger. So if you want to focus on me, that's your prerogative, but I'm telling you to just focus on the messages that I'm giving you people. Hopefully everybody gets it, but I know more than likely everybody won't, because it's just, because some people are, everybody's got to make their own choices. But anyway, so you got to think about this. So here's a question. If all you know is what they taught you, and what they taught you is all you know, so then what do you really know? It's a little bit of a riddle, but it's a question. I mean, it's not that hard of one. So if they wrote the books to what you're going to be taught, then, what do you know? You only know what they wrote and what they're telling you. It's just the way that it works. And the people that write the books are the ones that win the wars. These are just facts. But yeah, there's a lot of other questions that I'll save for another video about a lot of all that, because it ties more into laws and than it does with this. But yeah, so you gotta think about, I'm just encouraging you to think for yourselves. Use your brain. Don't take everything that they push in front of your face and tell in your ear to be 100% correct. Because, 90-some% of the time, it's some kind of agenda behind it. And 90-some% of the time, it's about either money or control, or both. So it's just, it's the way they set the system up here. And, we were all duped into it. Me too. I was taught the same stuff. The only difference with me is I, had a literal encounter and walked with God. So you can't tell me that he's not real, because I literally went to where he's at, up there. Not in this body, but in my true spirit energy form, which is what the stars are. The stars are living beings, which is where the whole thing comes from, a star seed. For people that, some of them volunteer to come here to do like what I'm doing. And you got to think the star solstice. So they are souls. They are living souls. It's not what NASA taught you and everything with the earth turns and we go around the sun. No. If we went around the sun, then why is space so dark, but yet it's so light here during the day? I mean, really think about that. Make that make sense. If the sun is, everything is revolving around the sun, then why isn't space light? It's so lit up. Why is it dark, black? But yet it's so bright here like it is during the day because we're not revolving around the sun. The Earth isn't a sphere; it's a snow globe, and the sun and the moon is inside the snow globe with us. They're moving in a circle because the Earth is actually flat. It's the only way the airplanes work. Ask a pilot. It's the only way GPS works. It's the way the ships navigate with how they used to use the stars as the navigation systems to know where they're at and where they're going. And because the North Star never moves, because that's where the Father's throne is, and it can't be moved. The stars are turning, and the North Star is the center point. So everything is revolving around Him. The sun represents the Messiah who brought light to the world into the darkness, and He saw that it was good. The moon represents the deceiver, Satan, whatever, the devil, Beelzebub. He can pose himself as light, but yet it's not as bright as the light because there's so much darkness in him. But it all connects together. So hopefully I'm explaining it good enough. I'm just getting started with it, explaining all this, so I'm sure I'll get better at it as I go along. But yeah. So this is why time is measured in moments, a day, seasons, and years. And the new year is April 1st. That's why it's called April Fool's Day, because we're all fools for buying into this Roman pagan calendar with pagan holidays that represent, their pagan gods that aren't real gods. Just another part is, why is every planet named after a Roman pagan god except for the one that we live on? So that should help you with part of that too. That's fact. And that's all pushed by every space program from every major every major country that has a space program. They all work together to push the same bullcrap agenda all over. So, because they make billions of dollars a year. It's about money and control. It's about them making money and controlling your mind. So if you're not controlling you, then that means something else or someone else is. That's just fact. And this is what they've been doing. This is why they teach you what they teach you, and why they want you to go buy the books, and why you're taught to fall in single file line in school. You got to raise your hand, and you can't speak unless you're called on, and just all this stuff is ingrained in your brain so that you become, because they're teaching you to go to work, because that's what they tell you. After school, you got to get a job, save your money in a bank, and so they can make money off of your money while you think this is the way to get rich. And this is enslavement. That's exactly what it is. And then when you fall out of line, what do? They punish you. You go to court. They incarcerate you, which is what they taught us that slavery actually was. Because, like I said, they had guys with guns, and if you ran, they would chase you down, shoot you, whatever, kill you, bring you back. Well, think about everybody that's in prison. They do the same thing. If you try to escape, that's what they do. They either kill you or well, God determines your actual day if you live or die. I know that for a fact because I have died many times, and yet I'm still here. But you know, now they just have fences, so instead of guys on horses with guns and like they did back in the day, and you know, and whatnot. So, and they just changed the wordplay. That's it's just what it is, man. You can accept it and learn from it and change you so that you're not a part of it and be set truly free, or you can just keep buying into being a good slave and you know, living the life that you're living and feeling the way that you're feeling. And you know, this is the part where the truth will set you free. So yeah, I just hope that, you know, everybody's getting it, but you know, only those who have eyes will see, and only those who have ears will hear. This is exactly what that means. Because somebody can bring you something and it be 100% truth, and you reject it because it goes against what you think is true. But just because you did doesn't make the truth false and make your false true. This is just facts. And not all truth is something. Truth isn't warm and fuzzy and want to give you a hug and, you know, make you feel like you're right. And most of the time, no, it's going to make you feel like you're wrong, because you are. I know, because I went through all this. A lot of it is really hard to accept. But anyway, you know, so this is just a little bit more on the time, trying to, and you know, all my videos are raw, real, authentic, unedited. I don't read from notes. I don't read from another screen. So this way, you know, I'm not just regurgitating information. I'm not, you know, I'm not AI. I'm far from AI. Yeah, so it's just my own personal studies, my own personal experience, my own personal walk with the Father. And yeah, there is, it's in the book that others, he has revealed himself to others. He's walked with others. So to say that he can't do that with you, well, then you're the one putting him in a box, not me. I learned to not do that, because that when you do, then he is no longer a God or God, because you're limiting his abilities, his power, his, you know, just everything that he is. And yeah, he's not in a box. Yeah, it's, but anyway, he is real, though. Whether you choose to accept him or not is your choice. And he has nothing to do with religion. So don't go to a church building and pick a religion, denomination, trying to find them. I'm not saying that you can't find some truths there, because each one of them got a little bit of truth, because they have to have a little bit of truth in order for you to believe all the lies. That's fact with any part of everything. That's, you know, and then they got us to believe lies, and the farther from the real from the truth the lie is, the more likely you discard the real truth when you hear it, because it just sounds too far-fetched from what everybody's already been doing and living by and being taught, and that's part of that's part of the whole setup. But yeah, no, the change is here. The change is happening. The truth, the lies are being undone. The truth is being told. Yeah, that's where we're at. Another part of time is the Father created everything in 7 days. So in the first day, he said, "Let there be light." This is why Sunday is called Sunday, because it's the day of the sun. So that's the first day. And then the other days he did the other things and then rested on the seventh day. So the seventh day would be Saturday. That's why it's they named it after Saturn, the with the Roman pagan holiday. To that's why it's Saturn. Saturday. But it's actually Sabbath day. It's the day of rest for man. Saturday is the true Sabbath day, and it's the day that we're supposed to keep holy. Meaning we're supposed to rest, not work, not make anybody else work. That's what it's for. But the days also represent the part where he talks about a day is like 1,000 years to him. And 1,000 years is like a day, because each day represents 1,000 years. And if you look back and count the time to where we are, because we just finished the 6th day, so the 7th day is the last 1,000 years, which is the 1,000 years of rest, meaning his way. Because we did the 6,000 years of allowing the devil, Satan, to basically, in a sense, we gave him control. He doesn't have control or dominion. Never did. Was never given that authority other than by us. We gave it to him. We let him trick us into it. And if you do research on it, as time went by, he allowed things to fall farther and farther away from the Father with the teachings, the way that everything is taught and where we're at. And as it got closer back to the last 1,000 years, things have been coming back into knowing. A good documentary to watch on all this is called The Days of Noah. It's a 4-part documentary, and it explains what I just briefly talked about. How in the beginning things were used to deceive people and get them to fall away and to not believe in the Father and seek the Father, and then the time of him getting to play and have control, and then it talks about how everything has been coming back to light, because what is done in the dark will always come to the light. This is why you can't hide nothing, even if you did it all by yourself in a pitch black room, and you you did it, and he is in you because he gave you life. So it'll come to the light when you are before him. Just like when the sun appears, the darkness has no choice but to flee, and the light reveals everything that is here. It's just the way it works. So everything you think you've done in a secret, I'm not saying you got to go tell somebody or whatever, but he wants you to take accountability for everything you've done with him. That's for sure. Because when you are before him, you can't hide none of it anyway. So, because he already knows. Before you even tell him, he already knows. But it's about being accountable and taking responsibility for what you've done and admitting your wrongs with him. And if he leads you to do that with people, well, then he's leading you to do that because there's something there that for you and for the other person. Everything is always teaching. Everything is always something. There's a lesson in everything. But so anyway, this parking garage isn't as tall as some of the others that I found, but yeah, like I said, there's mountain everywhere when you look around this city on the outside. Um, but yeah, so I'm just bringing light into the valley of the shadow of darkness. Um, yeah, but I'm just doing my best to be obedient, and that's another thing. Obedience is better than sacrifice. You will be rewarded greater for it. That's why we don't do sacrifices no more, because he wants obedience. We don't have to sacrifice animals and put blood on the altar and all that stuff like they did in the era of law. And but yeah, because but yeah, anyway. So there was a little bit more, and there were some questions there for you to think about. Yeah, with everything, even the English Bible, which I'll have to do a video on that. There's still a lot of videos that it's got to be done with truth, but yeah, this is why you even got to research back into, and if you're really wanting him and seeking him, you'll get into learning Hebrew and all of this stuff. But yeah, there's still a lot of videos I got to do, about law and energy and how the Bible came about, and yeah, there's still a lot to unveil for everybody. There's a lot more than you think. But yeah, so there's just some more about time. There's just some questions, a little bit more about spelling and curses, and so everybody is, in a sense, a witch and a warlock, because the words you speak, that's what you're doing. You're cursing. So just remember, power of life and death is in the tongue. That's exactly what that means. And every word that you speak, you are always talking to yourself. So it's better to not speak ill will, even though you're going to say it about somebody else, even if it may be true, because you're also telling yourself to think that at the same time. So I'm just saying, these are things that you need to consider, and really, that's why it helps to be mindful about what you're watching, what you're listening to, places you go, who you hang out with, the things that you're doing, because all this plays on effect on the brain and what it thinks, and the brain affects what the mouth speaks. The mouth affects the habits that you form. Your habits have an effect on your character, and your character has a form on your integrity, and your integrity sets your morals. So and your morals is basically what you will stand on, or stand for, or stand for nothing. So this is just the way that it works. But yeah, so hopefully everybody's having a beautiful day. It's another beautiful day here. But yeah, and pray for one another. Be thankful for everything that you got, and you have, and you are, and that you can do, and yeah, start setting yourself in a mind of gratitude, and appreciation, and be humble, because if you think you're better than the person next to you, you're not. And yeah, God can humble you way faster than any person can, and he gives and he takes. So it's just the way that it works. And yeah, that means he controls karma, 100% of it. So everything that is done is tied into karma. And when it gets dished out, and to whom, and all that, that's all up to him too. And what you get, and how much of it, and that's all up to him. So, just focus on what you're in control of. Your actions, your decisions, the words you speak, you know, people, places, and things that you go do, all that kind of stuff, because all that has an effect. But anyway, so hopefully you get it. Especially before you're before him, because then you can't go back and say, hey, that them videos I watched, that dude was talking some real sense. But hey, you ain't gotta take my word for it, because I want you to research it, look into it yourself like you're supposed to. That's the part of test the spirit by the spirit to make sure it's of the spirit. That's exactly what that means, to make sure that whatever it is that you see and hear is the truth. And that's what everybody should be seeking for. Not buying into whatever is convenient or works for them or plays into their favor, or, so yeah. Have a beautiful, glorious day. Peace, love, and light. Shalom.